right, so it's the first day of Midem 2013, and I'm really glad to welcome to the show today, to Digital Music Trends Midem 2013 coverage, Vincent Borel. He's the co-founder and head of business for Webdoc. And hi, Vincent, how's it going today?
Good, thanks.
And Olivier de Simone, who's head of music. How's it going?
Hi, good. Thanks for having us.
All right, so I've introduced them as, Webdoc, but of course you can see that we have t-shirts that say "You Are" on them, and so I have to ask you guys first of all, what is that all about and what's happening?
I think it's your turn.
Like Olivier said, it's my turn, and it's going to be your turn pretty soon. So Webdoc is rebranding into Your Turn, and with it comes the next generation of our social expression platform.
That's great. So how did that come about? Of course, it's what if anybody would describe it as a pivot for the company, and a new name and a new approach to how you do things. So how did that come about, and how did you decide to migrate from Webdoc to Your Turn?
Yeah, I think like any startup, it's a constant learning experience, and you learn from your users and from their uses.
Yeah.
And over the past year, we've last year at the same time we were lucky enough to win the Midem Lab, which got us a lot of publicity within the music industry. And very soon after, we started, getting fairly decent traction on the music, and it just kept growing over the year. And we were getting more and more requests from labels and artists who were trying to find a deeper sense of engagement with their fans, and they were wanting to leverage user-generated content as a means of developing that tighter interaction.
Yeah.
And so through Webdoc, they were able to actually get fans to publish content about the artist or around the artist, which spread the word and grouped the fans together.
Yeah.
Around the content they were creating. And while doing this process, we kept trying to optimize and improve that experience for the fans and making it more natural and more pleasant for them. And I think as we were doing this process, we kind of keyed on something that we today call expressions,
yeah,
which is at the heart of Your Turn.
Yeah.
And expressions came about with this notion of being able to create interactive templates where users are very easily able to insert personal content into a pre-formatted post.
Yeah.
That can contain many elements. So it could be, multiple medias, multiple pictures, or pictures and sound, pictures and video, and include also, the template defines kind of the visual mood and visual design.
Of course, yeah. And Olivier, so talking about the music side, well, of course, talking about the way that people engage to Webdoc, you had some interesting figures on the engagement on that front.
Sure. So obviously, we got a lot of requests from record labels, managers, and they ask us for campaigns and experiences for the artist, and we started to track really engagement. And if you think about how the social web is evolving, we have been talking a lot about, you need to get followers, you need to get like a big community.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue you have really today is like to get active users. So engagement is really the new metric, and we have been really focusing into that and analyzing what was working on Webdoc.
Yeah.
And we did like quite a lot of campaigns with bands like, Example, like 1D, Ellie Goulding, and so on. And constantly we had an engagement rate that was in between 5 to 15%. Recently, we even got like 23% engagement with the script, which is amazing. And
you might want to put it into perspective.
Yeah, it's like if you think about like Facebook or Twitter, like when you have like a 2% of engagement, it's already a success.
Yeah.
So when we started to analyze this and see such a great result for engagement, we tried to understand, like, to analyze why it's working that way, and we were really seeing attraction in two ways. Like, one way was like seeing what fans were doing. So when I'm discovering my friends or someone sharing the same interest, expressing himself on Webdoc, he was like copying what someone else was doing, and he was like clicking on this button that we had called "Make You Own," and it was natural, and you're very excited because into your post you have the word of the artist.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like, this engagement thing was really amazing, and I think everyone in the music industry understands that it's great to get a big community, but if they're not active, what is the benefit for you? And this industry is like, it's been for a long time monetizing content, but now it's monetizing like your audience.
Yeah.
And you need to get people active.
Absolutely. And let's talk about the way in which sort of you simplify the interface as well, and it's all centered around this Urturn button. So of course before it was still very easy to use Webdoc, but there were a lot of things that could be done, and I think this really streamlines the way that users can respond to a post, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all extremely distracted when we're in front of our computers, jumping from one thing to the next, and what people loved on Webdoc was their ability to, freely share their creativity, and so they were able to do, to combine things in a clever way and in a personal way. One of the things that was one of their drawbacks was that for people who wanted to do it very quickly, it always took them too much time, and so. Yeah. By developing expressions, what we're really doing is giving users the ability to create something very quickly, effortlessly almost, and something that always looks beautiful, and then share it. So all of the expressions that we've built allow you to combine those elements together very, very simply.
Yeah.
Now, once we have that, the other thing was people are discovering content and discovering expressions because they've been shared with your friends, your followers. And so once I discover this, I want to be able to use it. I say, oh, this is really cool. I've seen this. It's like I see a cool Instagram picture. Unless I know it's Instagram, it's very hard for me. And then I still don't know what the filter is, for instance. So that's how we came around with the idea of Urturn, which is I see something. Most of the time, if it touches me in one way or another, I want to be able to do the same and share it with my friends. So the Urturn button allows you to grab that expression and insert your own content in there.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of spreads the virality of expressions.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the way in which people can actually set up posts on Urturn. The interesting thing about Webdoc was that there were a lot of experiments from the labels side as well, which were very customized, of course, and that required some work on your part to actually do design and all sorts of things on the back end. So how is that going to evolve, and is there a solution to make the process faster?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you ask Olivier, he'll tell you that he spent way too much time having to deal with the artists and the labels, asking for clever things and always custom, personal to the artist, to their image, creating amazing results. We have done, things for David Bowie Ziggyfy, which, 6 months later, people are still Ziggifying themselves. And it's really cool to see those. But it's true that there's a big effort put into it. And, our intent was never to say, okay, we're going to be managing this for the future and that's our business. So as part of Urturn, and by building Urturn on top of expressions, we are pretty much defining the service by expressions.
Yeah.
But expressions, there's a limitless number of expressions that you can create. And so we really wanted to open this up to anyone. and that's our way and our solution for managing this going forward. Opening it up means we're actually going to be providing an API which allows third-party developers, agencies, to be able to build their own expressions for their own purposes using Urturn.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk platform as well. You were talking about the use of users on the desktop as well. Are you looking at the mobile space, and what are the options for Urturn on the front?
Yes, absolutely. I think that as we created Urturn, it was very important for us to design a platform which was device agnostic. We've always, as you know, we've always been big supporters and believers in HTML5, which also had this notion of working across device, whether it was my iPad or my Android or whatever browser that supported HTML5, I was able to actually consume that content. So moving forward, you can expect, Urturn to be present everywhere.
Absolutely. And Olivier, talking about the work that you were doing with labels and agencies on the production of Webdoc as well, do you feel like it's going to be actually a lot easier to convince certain agencies to come on board if they can actually use their own devs to create something on top of the Webdoc, the Urturn platform?
Absolutely. What is really interesting is that we have already so much demand. And it's not like people just saying like, I want to do a campaign like this, etc. It was really like, how can we do this in-house? And really, I think like one of the interesting thing we're seeing in the developer side is that it's not just tech, it's more and more like about being creative, and to get this really like DNA of being viral. And we have seen this. We have seen like a lot of agencies, a lot of even like management companies now starting to be like, okay, we have an artist. The biggest asset of an artist is the fan base, and we need to entertain them. We need to get them active, and they want to create special experiences. So we have already like a lot of demands, and we're like we have a lot of people starting to code from now.
That's great. And just talking about the platform and how it's going to be deployed, you have a Urturn.com, I assume?
Yeah.
Yes. URTURN.
Absolutely. And it's a great flow of all the expressions that are happening on the platform. So how do you manage the user base on that front? Are you going to have like the same registration process as you would with any platform, or are you going to be connected with Facebook? How does that work?
Sure. So the obviously, and it's been the case for Webdoc, like basically Webdoc is becoming Urturn, and so it stays the same mechanic. So obviously the integration we have with like Facebook and Twitter is really important. And what is important for us is really to get like what fans are doing needs to be shared. They want to spread. And if you think about some campaigns like Green Day, for instance, we had over 80% people sharing their Webdoc post in Twitter or Facebook.
Wow.
They like it. They're so proud to be part of like, in this case, it was the artwork of the new album, that they want to share this. And obviously, like Facebook and Twitter are like the obvious one. Of course.
Well, absolutely great news, and best of luck with the launch. And everybody should go and check out Urturn, urturn.com, and let us know your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.